Here's a wake-up call that should terrify every IT administrator. Hackers are potentially exploiting a brand new, unpatched vulnerability in SonicWall firewalls, and they're doing it while laughing at your security measures. SonicWall dropped a bombshell announcement this Monday, confirming they're actively investigating whether a devastating wave of cyber attacks against their Generation 7 firewall systems stems from a previously unknown zero-day exploit, or if criminals have found a clever new way to abuse existing security flaws. But here's where it gets controversial. These aren't your typical script kiddie attacks. We're talking about sophisticated threat actors who are specifically targeting organizations that have done everything right. Fully patched systems, rotated credentials, the works. And they're still getting in. The alarm bells started ringing loudly on August 1st when Arctic Wolf's security researchers published a chilling report detailing how cybercriminals have been unleashing the notorious Akira Ransomware variant in a coordinated assault campaign that kicked off on July 15th. What makes this particularly unsettling is that researchers witnessed a dramatic spike in hands-on keyboard activity just last week, indicating that these aren't automated bot attacks, but rather human operators actively infiltrating networks in real time. The similarities between these current incidents and last year's devastating attack series, which exploited an improper access control weakness cataloged as CVE 2024-40766, have security experts drawing uncomfortable parallels. It's like watching the same horror movie sequel. Except this time, the villain might have an entirely new playbook. John Hammond, who serves as principal security researcher at Huntress, didn't mince words when describing the situation on Monday. His team has documented roughly 20 distinct attack incidents since July 25th alone, and the pattern they're seeing strongly suggests the existence of a genuine zero-day vulnerability. Hammond expressed moderate to high confidence in this assessment, noting that the sheer scope and consistency of the attack methodology significantly narrows down the possible explanations. I'll be completely honest with you, I don't have the complete root cause analysis nailed down just yet. Hammond candidly admitted during his conversation with Cybersecurity Dive. But when you're seeing something like credential brute forcing or multi-factor authentication bypasses happening this extensively across so many targets, those traditional explanations just don't add up anymore. And this is the part most people miss. The attackers aren't just breaking in, they're systematically bypassing multi-factor authentication protocols before deploying their ransomware payloads. Think about that for a moment. MFA is supposed to be your last line of defense, the security measure that keeps you safe even when everything else fails. If that's being circumvented en masse, we're dealing with a fundamentally different threat landscape. The technical scope of this potential vulnerability appears to be concentrated on SonicWall's TZ and NSA firewall models that have SSLVPN functionality enabled, according to Huntress researchers. More specifically, the security flaw seems to impact devices running firmware versions 7.2.0-7015 and any earlier iterations, which represents a substantial installed base of enterprise security appliances. Sophos has independently corroborated the severity of this situation, with Alexandra Rose, who directs threat research for the Sophos Counter-Threat Unit, confirming that her organization has identified 10 separate incidents since July 23rd. These discoveries came through both their managed detection and response platform and direct incident response engagements with affected clients. While our current observations are primarily concentrated among U.S.-based organizations, this geographic pattern definitely doesn't indicate that American companies are the only targets getting hit, Rose emphasized, suggesting that the true global impact may be far more extensive than initially apparent. In response to this escalating crisis, SonicWall has issued urgent guidance recommending that customers immediately disable SSLVPN services wherever operationally feasible. For organizations that absolutely cannot function without SSLVPN access, the company is advocating for strict IP restrictions that limit connectivity to only trusted source addresses. Additional protective measures include enforcing robust multi-factor authentication protocols, activating botnet filtering capabilities, implementing geo-IP filtering to block suspicious geographic regions, conducting thorough audits to eliminate unused user accounts, and mandating comprehensive password updates across all user accounts. But here's what's really controversial about this entire situation. SonicWall devices have become a recurring target for multiple attack campaigns throughout recent months, raising serious questions about the fundamental security architecture of these widely deployed network appliances. Just in mid-July, Google's security research team issued warnings about a threat actor designated as UNC 6148, which had been systematically compromising end-of-life SonicWall SMA100 appliances. This pattern of repeated targeting raises an uncomfortable question that the cybersecurity community needs to address. Are we witnessing isolated incidents? Or is there something fundamentally flawed in how these critical network security devices are being designed, deployed, or maintained? What's your take on this developing situation? Do you think organizations are becoming too dependent on perimeter security devices that are increasingly becoming single points of failure? Should companies be reconsidering their entire network security architecture in light of these repeated compromises? Or are these just growing pains in an evolving threat landscape? Share your thoughts, and don't hold back if you disagree with the conventional wisdom on network security strategies.